Morning.
Morning.
Oh, no, I don't care one way or the other, it's just that people here want to talk about number 12. And someone brought up 12, and someone talked about health, so this is an agenda item, and this is in the public comment section, Steve.
Right, yeah, he was here before.
Yeah, and then you got this guy, Mike's back, I guess he's doing well. Got some air growing back, so.
Amen.
That's all I see right now.
That's all I got.
And Mr. Administrator Armbruster? Jeff,
Excuse me,
Mr. Armbruster, I did get my answer. Thank you.
you got your
I did. Your wonderful deputy administrator
We need
gave
to
me my
have-
answer.
We are going to start the meeting.
We are calling to order.
Good morning.
Go ahead.
Good morning. It's a little after 9:30 on Friday morning, and this is the regular meeting of Lorain County Board of Commissioners. Let's stand and pledge the flag.
I
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Commissioner Riddell,
Here.
Commissioner Moore,
Here.
Commissioner Hung.
here.
We have a quorum. First is a proclamation to proclaim February 11th of 2024 as 211 First Call for Help Awareness Day in Lorain County. And Colleen Waltz from United Way of Greater Lorain County is here, and Commissioner Riddell has the proclamation.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Should we read the proclamation first? What would be best?
Whatever is the pleasure of the board.
You want me to read?
That's
Teresa, you're
the
so good
perks
at
of the
this.
job, Mr. President.
Another job I inherited. Excuse me, no, this is serious business. Whereas 211 First Call for Help, powered by United Way of Greater Lorain County, is entering into its third decade of quality and caring service to the community. And whereas since inception, 211 has responded to over 441,000 requests for help from individuals from all walks of life, offering the guidance and support they require, even during challenging times. And whereas from the launch of 211 searchable database in 2010, there have been over 246,000 unique web searches. Whereas web searches since July 1, 2023 have already exceeded the total searches conducted in 2021, and we anticipate that calls will surpass 16,000, a milestone achieved only 3 times in the past 14 years. Whereas housing, utilities, food, insecurity, and health concerns are the top needs expressed to people reaching out for support. And whereas 211's caring staff continue to be that beacon of hope, providing crisis support and resources when people are overwhelmed and do not know where to turn. 211 is available any time of day or night. Now therefore, by Lorain County Board of Commissioners, we do hereby proclaim February 11th, 2024 as 211 Awareness Day in Lorain County. And further be it resolved, we urge all citizens to be aware that if they are overwhelmed and in crisis, 211 is available any time of day or night, and that 211 staff can also provide referrals to mental health counseling, substance abuse, health care, employment, food assistance, daycare, volunteering, VHA free income tax preparation, and so much more. Witness our signatures this second day of February 2024.
Well, thank you so much for having me. My name is Colleen Waltz. I'm the Director of Marketing and Engagement at United Way of Greater Lorain County. I feel so blessed and privileged to be here today, and thank you for the recognition of 211 Awareness Day. It always surprises me how many times I go into the community, whether it's at a health fair or a community event, and people are not aware of 211. It is it's a confidential service that's available to every resident within this county, and it's nationwide, backed by United Way as well too. So folks outside this community can certainly take support of that caring live representatives are available on the phone line to triage every single call that we get and route these folks to services that can help them in their time of need. So we know that help starts at 211, and we appreciate your support on getting the awareness about 211, and really appreciate the Awareness Day here for February 11th. So thank you for having me.
Thank
Oh,
you.
thanks for coming in.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
for bringing it to our attention. I think the most compelling number of what I just read is 146,000 different requests.
Yes.
We only have 310,000 residents in Lorain County. That's an amazing number. It's an
Yes.
amazing number.
And we know the needs are so great. Food costs continue to rise, housing costs continue to rise. We know that the need is just so great and multifaceted. So the caring representatives on the 211 line can again triage the call and get a multifaceted approach. So whether it's housing, it's childcare, it's youth development, it's employment services, it is the full gamut of needs that we see in the county. So thank you for highlighting that. We certainly appreciate it.
Well, thank you for the good work you do.
Thank
You
you.
deserve this recognition and more.
Thank you. I'd love to get a picture if I
Yeah,
could.
sure.
That's possible.
Here, oh, okay, I guess we
Do we want to?
give it to her and then we can,
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, okay.
No, we
So we're
should.
gonna- okay.
well, this way she can at least
We'll
get a
just do it
photo
real
and
quick.
I think Karen can take it.
you can go back to work. and
Matt,
get that.
do you wanna grab the camera from? Matt, Matt.
We'll take it with this too.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Okay, you should stand for president. One more, Joe.
Thank you very much. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
your support. Thank you.
Like probably yesterday at 9 or something.
Yeah, I thought I saw it, but I can't remember.
There's a lot of problems with the email service going on right now.
I'm supposed to be surfing while we're in a meeting there, sir.
What's that?
Because all you guys get your agenda printed, I'm looking for my agenda, you can see it on my phone. I can't find it.
Okay, sure, okay.
I will be left.
Okay. One of the more enjoyable tasks we do as commissioners. So,
And she doesn't have to stay, she can go. so.
yeah,
Okay, ready? Under resolutions, number 1, investments.
Move to approve?
second?
Discussion. Commissioner Hung,
Yes.
Commissioner Rodow,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore.
Yes,
Number 2, appropriations.
Move to accept?
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Rodow,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore.
aye,
Number 3, transfers, there were none. Number 4, advances, repayments, there were none. Number 5, requisitions.
Any questions or comments on page 1?
Are you guys get, Assistant Prosecutor, you guys engaging Macaulay still? I see,
Macaulay is,
on number 588, are you guys,
it's the grant writer. We are, yeah.
you know, we're paying quite a bit for a grant writer, I don't know why you can't piggyback what we're spending.
Well, because the one, because our contract was signed at a different time than yours was, number one. And number two, I think I had told you previously, Macaulay got identified and won a grant for us for $300-some thousand to establish a new unit to handle prosecutions against when the victims are children. So we've had some good success with them. But I believe our contract runs, I want to say, until the summer.
Okay, so if you
Yeah,
could
then we'll
remind
look
it,
at it.
let's revisit, see if
Yep.
there's any synergies with what we're doing with you, just to save
Yeah,
some money on
absolutely.
expenses, so,
Yep,
okay, thank you.
yep.
Yeah, you can see on there, Mr. President.
Go ahead.
The Board of Elections gearing up for our March election. Security seals for the election equipment, they run all the tests, and once they're ready, they seal them, and then they batch them going out to the precincts for voting, the voter centers. And then the bags and the activation cards we all use.
Hopefully, we'll just have 2 elections this year, primary and a general.
Yeah, that way they don't have to do it twice.
I don't think they've had a break since, they've had a rough year last year, so hopefully they'll,
Yes,
Yeah.
I hear quite a lot about
I
that.
figured you would since you represent them, you know?
Yeah, and Karen, maybe when we get to you, you can give us kind of an update, because we're in that final stage, right? Sure. Okay, great.
Page 2, Victor.
Move to approve pages 1 and 2 of the requisitions.
Second,
Anything further? Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
yes.
Commissioner Dell?
Aye.
Number 6, travel, there were none. Number 7, bills.
Still working on that. Trying to enlarge. You want to give us an update?
And, I mean, this is significantly bigger. I mean,
Yeah.
if we can continue to go bigger, this is significantly bigger than it was. So, we can, if,
You know, go large or go home, right? So,
we can still, we can.
if you can keep working on it, yeah, because,
Okay.
I mean, we can see it fine. We see the hard copies before our meetings. But I'm sure people that are watching this would like to have maybe a little bit larger, so.
Keep blowing it up.
Yeah, it does look a lot better, though.
Yes.
We got 6 pages today, so.
3.
Yeah, it says 6.
I'll get the extra JFS stuff, right?
Okay.
Next page. Next page.
There we go. So that looks nice. Yeah, if you can do that on the other ones, I think we'd be fine. Don't you? That answer.
Okay.
Okay.
Move to accept.
Well, we got 3 more pages.
We have 3 more.
Yeah, and keep going, I guess. These are just 1 pagers each. Well,
The JFS
Yeah.
with the travel and the
Yeah.
gas reimbursements.
and
Yes, I'll-
there we go.
And I will second that, Mr. President. He said move to accept.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said,
Anything further? Commissioner Dell?
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
yes.
Commissioner Moore?
All right.
Number 8, county commissioners may recess into an executive session to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official, along with any other matters as specifically identified by motion in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code 121.22 G 1 through 8. Unless expressly stated otherwise during executive session, matters discussed in executive session are designated by the county commissioners as confidential. Because the confidentiality of such matters is necessary for the proper conduct of government business, any disclosure outside of executive session is prohibited by Ohio Revised Code 102.03B. While in executive session, the county commissioners may discuss and deliberate on the matters at issue, but no votes may be taken until open session resumes.
We're probably going to go, right?
We are gonna go into executive session, I
But-
believe. I will call for one. We
Okay.
have to vote on it. but
Well,
I'll call.
we're just not going to vote on a personnel summary sheet right now then. We'll wait. Okay. I don't think it'd be right. You guys would like to wait for 2 hours, so, all right.
Okay, moving on then to public comment.
On agenda.
On agenda items? No, on agenda
On
items?
agenda item?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Welcome back.
Nice to see you again, Mr. DiCarlo.
It's good to be seen, Ms. Hung. Good to be seen. Michael DeCarlo, 320 Alberta Vermilion. I'd like to address you, commissioners, on number 12. It's not about the process or the people that we have in our system, on our side of the system. As far as the government part here, I'm not angry about that at all. The people that are doing this job. My concern here is the Cleveland Communications Incorporated. The last meeting, we came to a conclusion that we did this. Mr. Armbruster said the state's position is this with the FCC. The state has no position with the FCC. It has no jurisdiction over there. So the state has no input, sir, and it's not personal. I really appreciate the 6119. I really, really do. But the concern here is that if we don't address this, eventually we're never going to look like the country that we are. We're going to give the system, the people within the system, and they're not the people we have here. I trust them. They've given me nothing to not trust them for, but they're not going to be there forever. And that's the concern we got to worry about, is that we're creating conditions that there can and there will be people that do not have our best interests in mind when it comes to the government. And every government in the history of man turns tyrannical. And we're not special. Every government has in history, right? And I'm not saying that we have tyrants here. I'm saying that every government in the history of man eventually turns that way. We need to be concerned in this radio system, because we have to, the burden of government is we got to employ folks to shoot, move, and communicate. That's our burden. We shouldn't privatize it. It opens too many open wormholes and too much business to be done. Because every private company in the world, they exist to do what? Make money. That's it. That's my point. I hope you have a great week. I got to go. We're changing chemo because my disease is advancing.
Oh.
So you may not see me anymore, which is why it was very important I came here and I spoke to you on this topic today.
Well, Michael, then it's also important that you know that this is a lease to CCI. They just bought some space on the tower, but this has nothing to do with the county system.
Understand, sir? Just one company has the ability to detract from the general benefit of all of us for its own benefit, and that is the concern. And we gotta, if we can wrap our minds around that and
Yeah.
keep it in front of us, we'll be good. Because the Polish salute when it comes to, hey, this is FUBAR. No, it's a snafu. Either way, it's the same thing.
Yes. Thank you,
Right.
Michael.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Michael, is it, are you addressed, is it Chief Petty Officer? Is that the right title?
Yeah, you can call me Chief Petty Officer. Remember, everything in the government's backwards.
So it's Petty Officer,
No,
Chief?
it doesn't matter. There's nothing petty about being the chief in the Navy.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
I just, no, wait a minute. I just want to say, our public relationship of you coming in has been, greatly appreciated. I just wanted you to know that. We care, okay?
I care, we all care. There ain't nobody here that's tremendously evil, right? We can all work together to make this thing better.
Yeah.
And it's a good place to be when you're home, because I've been to other places where there's been people that have been nothing but their self-interest in front of them, and it sticks out like a sore thumb.
Yeah. Well,
But-
I've enjoyed our relationship.
Right on. Take care.
Okay,
See
buddy.
ya.
Yeah.
Red Devil. That's ma'am.
Mr. DiCarlo, I just wanted to thank you for all of your sincerity and your enthusiasm for coming in here and sharing your views with us week after week and pointing things out that the people at home can, maybe give some thought to. Say, hey, that was a good idea Mr. DiCarlo brought up. So on behalf of us and behalf of the people who watch, thank you.
Right on. There's some stuff going on, ma'am, that we shouldn't put on a recruiting poster, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Thank you for all you do. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Is there any old business? Board business. Number 9, approve and waive the reading in the County Commissioners meeting minutes of January 30th of 2024.
Move to approve? Is that what you need? Yeah, okay.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore?
Yes.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Number 10, authorize payment to the Ohio Bureau of Workers' Compensation in the amount of $62,103 for the True Up reporting policy period January 1st of 23 through January 1st of 24, and this will be paid from workers' comp claims cost account.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Number 11, approve payment from Victims of Domestic Violence Fund to Lorain County Safe Harbor, Inc., DBA Genesis House, in the amount of $51,515.65 as collected by Lorain County for the period January 1st of 23 through December 31st of 23, in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code 2303.201 and 3113.34 through 39. These funds are collected through payment of marriage license fees, divorce, dissolutions, and annulment fees, and will be paid from the Victims of Domestic Violence allocation account.
Move to approve?
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Under 911, 12, agreeing to extend the lease agreement between Cleveland Communications, Inc. for the radio communications tower located at Lorain County 911, effective October 21st of 23 through October 19th of 25. Rent shall be $1,650 per month from October 20th of 23 through October 19th of 24, and $1,700 per month from October 20th of 24 to October 19th of 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
Yes.
Community Development 13, award a contract to Kleinfelder, Inc. in the amount of not to exceed $672,000 to administer Lorain County's Lead Safe Ohio grant. Lorain County received $1,892,000 grant to complete lead safe renovation projects, lead abatement projects, and related supportive measures for sites that meet the eligibility criteria through Lorain County over the next 2 years, and this will be paid from the Economic Development Professional Services account.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I'm looking over this paperwork and I see a date of Tuesday, January 9th. And I'm just speaking for myself. I just got this a couple of days ago. I just want to know what the board's thinking was, if we're comfortable with this, or did we want to take any extra time to review it?
I'm not comfortable with spending 40%, so, to administer this, so I'm wondering if we should table it.
Yeah, because the email says that they'd be happy to review with us. Do we want to take the extra time?
I prefer to table it.
I would second.
Discussion.
Any discussion?
Did you, I guess, Mr. President, would be up to you. Did you want them to do some presentation just for us to have the information?
Set the table a little bit?
Yeah.
They're here now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
set the table a little bit, and then
Yeah.
take up the motion to table.
And then we can have further.
Well, we're in discussion now, so.
Do you want to speak to this issue?
Yeah.
Yeah, we know. I just wish we would have had them a little earlier.
Hi, Lauren Falcone with Kleinfelder. Good to see everyone. Happy New Year. It's actually 35%.
Uh,
But I'll let you want to start, Drake?
I did 37 something, but anyway. I round up.
I do too usually.
Good morning, Commissioners. The Lead Safe Ohio grant obviously is truly specialized, because all the work that will be done by the consultant has to have certified individuals in a number of different areas. So when we have inspections done, they have to be lead certified through the state and also through EPA. Am I correct? Same thing with any assessors that are employed, and then also the contractors that actually do the work. As Lauren Falcone, one of the principals from Kleinfelder, is here. She can go into more detail and try to answer additional questions as you may have.
Sure. Yeah, so it's definitely a 2-year program. It's almost 2.5 to 3 years by the time the state comes out and monitors it. So administration for the grant is 10%. The other costs that you're looking at are soft costs related to the actual units that are going to be done. So I can tell you, and I don't work with this program directly, but I hear a lot about it because I run the department. We have to sometimes touch up to 100 households before we get 20 applicants. And when I mean touch, that means send a rehab specialist out, meet with the homeowner, go through what it needs to be done. We have to verify their income, which is a tedious process because there's a lot of paperwork and we have to walk the homeowners through it. That being said, there's not many people in the state that are certified to do all this because the program is a lot of work, a lot of paper, a lot of interaction with contractors, property owners, and obviously the county getting the grant done and implemented and then obviously reimbursed. So the money is going to come out of the grant. There is a small clawback that they're using at the state this year under admin. So there might be some cost to the county that is not included in the grant. And that would be if we didn't hit all our milestones. And I believe our milestones are 36 units, residential units, 4 childcare units or centers. And then that's what we're going to be touching with this program, we're hoping. I can tell you this area, the state is going gangbusters with the CHIP program. So this is an offshoot of the CHIP program, which I've come to you before to talk about, CDBG, community housing program. But I can tell you we're doing some in Medina County right now where we flew through the money. And I'm anticipating that Lorain County is going to be the same, that we're going to get the people in. But we might have to talk to 100 people to get those 36 units. And that's unfortunately where the costs come in. I can also tell you this is not a moneymaker program for a consulting firm. We usually break even on these programs, and we consider it our duty to go into these communities and rehab houses. And we were purchased recently by Kleinfelder, and that was one of the things that they thought was really attractive about Pogemeyer was that we were in these communities and helping these people, even though we weren't making a profit on it. But it's a good program, and I think that it's a very important program. And I can tell you just real quickly about the certifications. We have 2 certified inspectors, and that would be that I think that's in your legislation. They're certified licensed administrators and inspectors, EPA RRP certified, licensed lead-based risk paint assessors, and then lead abatement contractor supervisors. And we also have these 2, they call them guns, but they're really not guns, where it's called XRF. And I think you're familiar with this because I think we've used them before in your community, where they can go in and quickly assess whether the paint is lead-based. So again, it ggets people, their houses rehabbed to get rid of the lead and keeping the children and the families safe. So it is a great program. Do you have any questions for me?
No,
Okay.
I appreciate the
Yeah.
information you shared, but Commissioner?
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Well, it's just like I said before, I just got this a couple of days ago, and I'm looking at an email, everything you just
Yep,
said
yeah,
from
that's right.
January
Yep.
9th, and that probably would have helped us,
Yeah.
so that way we can go back,
I think-
review this, and then come back with any questions.
I think it was a quick turnaround from the state too. Wasn't the state requiring that we accepted the money quickly?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so unfortunately, we're at the mercy
No,
of the
that's
state.
okay, but it doesn't, is it okay if we table
Oh, it's
and
fine.
bring
Oh,
it back up?
You don't care, do you?
And that just gives
And you don't have to come back out,
No.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
if you don't
No,
mind.
Whatever,
Time to
no,
review
I just
and-
wanted to make sure you understood that the numbers are there, the certifications are there. And I think we talked about this program a little bit in detail, I don't know, was it last year, before you guys made application too?
Okay.
The only issue that it raised for me
Yep.
is, you're talking about $600 and some $1,000. And being generous, that's the salaries of 5 people
Yeah.
for a year.
And
And I realize
Yep.
it's a 2-year program, so you're talking about 2 or 3 full-time salaries. And I just, I get nervous when
Sure.
we hire a lot of consultants and we hire a lot of, people to help us do our job.
I get
But
it.
to spend money, spending 35% to help us spend just seems like a lot of money. And I, for one, I also want to clarify with the director what the role is for our staff in
Yep.
this. Because we have staff that, obviously their job is community development.
Right.
They need your assistance, but it's a very large number.
Yeah, and I will just tell you that that's what the state is telling us to do, the 10% of the admin and the 20% to get it done properly. So you will have 4 people from Bowling Green working on your project, and then probably a 5th person supervising. So there will be a number of people working on this project over the next 2 years. It's a large program. I mean, lots of paper, lots of
So
interaction with
5
clients.
people for 2 years to work on 40 houses and
Federally
3
funded
daycare
program,
centers.
correct, yes. And we streamlined it as much as we can, but we have to meet all the requirements. So when the state comes in, they will sit literally with Brandy Cowell, and I think that's who you're working with anyway, for 2 days, going through every single paper to make sure it's done right. And the warning is, if you don't do it right, they're gonna take the money back. And that has not happened for us ever, so I think that's huge. But I know a lot of other consultants have dropped out of this program because it is a lot of work for a set amount of money.
I look forward to further conversation.
Yep, that sounds good. I really appreciate your time.
I appreciate you
Thank
coming out
you.
today.
Oh, no problem. You're right around the corner.
Is there anything further? Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
To table, yeah. Job and Family Services 14, authorized purchase service agreement between Lorain County Department of Job and Family Services and the Educational Service Center of Lorain County, Elyria, Ohio, in the amount not to exceed $500,000 for social service workers at Lorain County Schools for services to low-income children using TANF funds, and this will be paid from the TANF account.
So moved.
Second,
Discussion. Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
yes.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Stormwater Management 15, accept the recommendation of the Stormwater District to construct drainage improvements for ditch restoration under Ohio Revised Code 6117.06 and schedule a public hearing on March 5th, 2024 at 4:30 PM.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Let's see, Don grabbed that microphone really quick. So.
Good morning, and thank you, Board. This is one of the ARPA projects were originally brought to you. It's located in Penfield Township. This GOT ditch stretches from State Route 301 and heads east, approximately 6,800 lineal feet, so well over a mile. This is a feeding off of a project previously completed using in part ARPA funds as well as OPWC, where we replaced a bridge, well, the county engineer's office replaced a bridge at Indian Hollow Road, and this empties into the east branch of the Black River. Will be impacting about 10 parcels that this ditch actually touches. The drainage area, of course, is much larger. And we do have our easements in place, and this was designed in-house by the county engineer for this one, and we have, the cost is going to be in excess of $250,000 based on the estimate. At the public hearing, we'll be able to go into a little greater detail, do a full dog and pony show, so you can see what it is that'll be done along this stretch. But it's farm field, woods, and also residential lots that will be going through along this. With that, I look forward to meeting you on March 5th to go over the project in detail. But if you have any questions now, I'm happy to try and answer.
Anything further? Commissioner Rendell?
Aye.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
16, receive the engineer's report on the Roth Main Ditch and Lateral Number 1 Restoration, Columbia Township. Said final hearing is going to be scheduled on April 2nd, 2024 at 4:30 p.m.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion.
Hey, Don.
Okay, this is a ditch petition project that's well underway. We held our first public meeting. It's located in Columbia Township, and the project, as petitioned, stretches from Mitchell Road east and north to almost to Station Road. It actually enters into a stormwater control measure for, what is the name of to Cobblestone subdivision. The board had asked the Stormwater District and engineer to take a look at some alternatives that might be able to hold water. Peter and I took a look at it. Peter did some design, looked at enclosing the ditch. That's not cost effective between permitting and costs. We also looked at a detention basin. That would have been very large, taken about 6 acres of property. Did not, and also drove the cost up substantially without providing a large enough benefit. And with that, we've continued to have conversations with people in the neighborhood, and we'll continue to have those up until we have our public hearing. I know I'll be reaching out to one gentleman probably later today.
So the final hearing is April the 2nd,
Yes.
and that means we'll go out to bid shortly thereafter?
Well, if you concur with the overall findings, and then there is a 30-day period where if someone disagrees with the decision of the board, has the right to appeal. So this is a 6131 ditch petition, whereas the previous project that we're scheduling is being done under 6117, where we've already received approval from all the property owners in form of an easement.
This is one of the last ones, the 6131s.
I hope so. No guarantees. That the public always has the right to petition the board, and I won't take that right away from them, but I
Okay.
would beg them very hard to think of other ways.
So Don, as I recall, when we had that meeting, we had a particular gentleman that wasn't happy, so we had asked for these alternatives. Is there going to be any conversation? I mean, I'm sure he'll be here.
He's a gentleman I'll be calling probably later today. We had spoken last Friday, and I had let him know that we hadn't scheduled the hearing yet, but it was coming up, that we would have a date, and that Peter's report was basically done, which you now have, the engineer's report, and that Peter and I would be going out to his house to review the report with him and continue our dialogue. I can tell you he's not an enthusiastic supporter of the project, and that's probably putting it very mildly.
And of course, we're not deciding anything here today, and
Correct.
we're gonna have you in, but that's a big number for a retention basin.
Oh,
That-
it would have been. It just, 6 acres. Part of the problem here is that there's not a whole lot of fall. So in order to be able to store water, you need to have a larger area because you can't get the depth and let the water out. The other thing is the location of the ditch and trying to minimize impacts. You can't take just a little piece of the property because you're going to leave a residual to the homeowner that has absolutely no value, so you might as well take it all. And we ended up impacting 3 homeowners on that detention basin concept and determined that that was not a viable alternative. So, but these were things that we did to look at as instructed by the board to determine whether there was sufficient value there. And we'll be able to share that. It should be in the report.
Thank you.
Anything further?
Call vote.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Thank you.
17, approve a First Amendment service contract with Katie McCartney in the amount of $325,200 to accommodate ARPA-related stormwater improvements to improve property in accordance with H2 Ohio and other grant and local funds for the Willow Creek watershed, and this will be paid out of the Stormwater ARPA Professional Services account.
So move.
Second.
Discussion.
Well, Don, this is the one you guys have been talking about for a couple of weeks now. so-
This contract is for a number of items. Most importantly is final design. Now that we've got our funding sources in play and that they've approved a conceptual plan, we're able to go out for full design. And then, in addition to that, this will provide us with the construction administration and final permitting that we need to construct the project. With the 2 grants received, well, one that we've received and accepted, one we actually have for $1 million is being reviewed right now to make sure its terms and conditions are acceptable, so we have not accepted that yet. We're looking at a total of a $4.8 million project roughly, with $2 million coming in the form of grants. Another $1 million hopefully is lined up to come from private participation, and that would leave only $1.8 million, which actually would be coming from ARPA. So this entire project could be funded without using $1 of local funds. It would all be coming from the outside. And the overall cost for 4 years of work on this part of it is just over $450,000, or less than 10% of the overall estimated project cost. So I think we've done very well on managing the money, leveraging the funds, and getting a benefit. This will actually hold back about 22 million gallons of stormwater and provide for water quality benefits and increased green space ecology to be able to build off of what we already have at Margaret Peak Preserve and what the Metro Parks have at Sandy Ridge. And this was done also in partnership with the Lorain Port Authority, Lorain County Port Authority, who is a very important partner in letting us obtain the property, be able to pull this off.
Mr. President, yep. And just so people know, these projects never go quickly, do they, Don?
No.
This one started in September of 2021, just so people understand that, and we're finally getting closer to the finish line on it. But just a quick question, is there going to be walking trails on this one, on the Gerber property?
During these initial phases, we don't have them designed in, but it is something that we're looking at. If we can go after additional funding, such as a Nature Works grant from the state or other, that would be able to install. But conceptually, that's kind of a long-term plan to continue to add value. So it's not just a piece of infrastructure for stormwater, but it's also a useful asset to the entire community.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anything further? Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Number 18, under the engineer, finding that public convenience and welfare requires a repair and resurfacing in Lake Avenue, County Road 204, from Elyria Avenue to North Ridge Road in Elyria Township, and authorize the engineer to advertise for bids in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code 5555.06.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
Yes.
This Bob gets off the hook.
She went quick on you there, Bob.
Now remember, you used 2 of your minutes of your report to delay our meeting, so those are gonna be charged against you.
In much of the report will come in executive session, so.
I wasn't gonna say anything, but I've got something to say now.
Thanks, Jeff. Okay.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Just a brief update for you. Commissioner Hung, you asked about the Board of Elections. That project is substantially complete. They've done a punch list and a walkthrough. So we're just wrapping up some things that the architect and our facilities manager has seen that need to be corrected by the contractor. So hopefully, I say we'd be totally complete within the next 30 days or so. I can double back and make sure that that's accurate for you, but that was the last report I saw this week.
Thank you. And again, that's another project that started in 2021. And I was over there talking to Jimmy Kramer a few weeks ago, and I know he was real happy. I guess there was an issue with the windows, around the windows, that the guys at Williams, is that who it is?
Williams
It's
Brothers.
Crown,
Williams Brothers
I
were
think it's
handling-
Crown Construction that's working
Yeah,
out there.
so they were real happy to get those issues fixed.
Right. Well, and I know that there was some discussion amongst the folks that work at the Board of Elections regarding what we were going to do with the rest of the walls. They were a little disappointed that we weren't able to paint and remove the wallpaper on some of the interior walls. And a lot of that just came down to budget. So the work we originally had planned, we had to reduce the scope because the cost exceeded the comfort level for the Board of Commissioners. So I think we took care of the problems where the windows were at, and there was moisture coming into the building, and, all those things have been corrected. So the building is definitely in a better place than where it was in 2021.
So the last piece then really is the wallpaper?
Yes, that's correct. So, and it's all over in that building, and it's in the hallways, interior walls, not necessarily the exterior walls, and that has to be removed. And that in itself, I know I've done it at home, and it's a real pain in the backside. So I can't imagine that we're going to be able to get that done anytime soon.
Well, yeah, because all the work has to be done in between the
Right,
elections.
and in between elections, which is a challenge. You wouldn't think that it would be, but between getting ready for an election and finishing an election, there's a very small window where you actually get to work, and then you have to kind of time out any kind of quoting process or bidding process that you're going through, so that you have somebody ready to go when the iron's hot, and then you just got to go in there and blow it out as quick
Yeah.
as you can. So, and the employees out there have been real cooperative in helping us get the work done. I know it's inconvenient anytime you do any kind of restoration work in a facility. And then, of course, our own facility staff did a lot of moving of furniture and trying to keep everybody on schedule so that we would not hold up any election proceedings whatsoever. So far, so good. I think we're out of the hard part. It should be just easy stuff from here on out for the next 30 days or so, and then they'll be ready for their next election cycle.
Okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome. So along that same line, the board, we will be having our project kickoff meeting for the Emergency Management Addition project. And I don't know that, if you recall, this is a Williams Brothers project, by the way, about $1.5 million. And we're adding an additional garage bay onto the existing facility. We're also replacing the rooftop units, and we're going to replace 2 generators with 1 new generator. Do parking lot work, resurfacing, restriping, garage doors, a lot of miscellaneous things to kind of bring that building back up to where it needs to be. There really has been no significant work done on that building since we opened it. So the time's come. We're hoping that we can get these infrastructure type things finished first. I know that there's been some concern with staff about carpet and painting and those kinds of things. So we want to do the infrastructure stuff first, and then we'll come back around to see if we can make the interior improvements with our own forces. So hopefully you'll see some work starting on that project here shortly. Also, I wanted to report out on the Healthy Aging Grant. I did make a phone call out to Barb Tamas, and she has her adult protective agency services out there at her agency. And we worked together with putting together a meeting of all of the agencies that help the elderly here in Lorain County. That's going to be held at the Job and Family Services Building on February 9th. And what we're trying to do is just sit down, have a discussion on how we can distribute the Healthy Aging Grant funds of $927,000. So the idea is we'll put together a nice plan, get the funds out to as many groups as we can so that we can reach as many elderly folks as we can in Lorain County. And then I'll be able to report back to you afterwards. And I can see I'm getting a look from Commissioner Moore. So we did include the health department as a part of that meeting to see how we can maybe help some folks out with septic systems. And I think that concludes my half of the report. Now I'm going to turn it over to your favorite son, Mr. Armbruster.
I wasn't going to say anything now, but you've prompted me. So quite honestly, I hear the board's frustration. We do, the administration, with regards to stormwater. In my previous position, I won't name that. How's that, Jeff?
Thank you.
Is that fine? That we just actually took our track hose and our guys, and we went out there and dipped and made the ditches work. Don and I and Bob, the engineering office and the stormwater office, have had quite a few conversations over the period of time since I've been here, and most recently, just last Tuesday. Why can't we just get it done? The rules and regulations in the county are far different than living in the city of North Ridgeville, my previous position. So the rules and regulations over here are so stringent that it becomes very, very difficult for us to perform what will help all of us in the county move forward. And I know that Don and Bob are working as hard as they can, and I'm trying to work in the gray area within the confines of the prosecutor's office so we don't run astray, to hurry these projects up as fast as we can. But when you have somebody sitting in the middle that maybe Suze's or somebody else that is disturbed, and you've got 500 or 100 or 1,000 other residents are going to be helped like this, it does bring us to a halt over here where we have to take that in consideration. Rather than digging on both sides, which maybe we do in North Ridgeville, and then settle it in the middle, it sometimes becomes very difficult to do that. To my second subject, reminds me 211, and I congratulations for the proclamation and how good of a service, but the 988, which is mental health, and 911, 911 receives calls all the time with regards to mental health issues but the state and we in Lorain County are working with the state as one of the first in the entire state to continue to develop governance and protocols as well as best practices for the 988 numbers coming into 911. I know one of the things that I thought about coming over here is that I know we're getting these 988 calls or these calls for mental health help, but our dispatchers are not really capable of doing that. You have to actually get it to a mental health professional to do that. So with this coordination and development of protocols that we're working on, I know that Director Berner left, but they are working with the state of Ohio to bring it together, and with the new hospital that's being built out there, trying to make this coordination work. So we will be one of the first in the state to have this set up to work with mental health and 911. That completes my report.
Karen, what time is on February 9th? What is that meeting on the healthy aging?
I believe it's at 2 o'clock.
And do you recall off the top of your head what the window is for spending those funds?
I think we have to have all the funds spent by September 24th.
Of
So
this year?
Of this year. So this is going to be a quick.
That's not gonna help the health department at all then.
No. No, but there's a lot of failed systems out there and people don't know there's avenues available for them, right? Or can they use this? Well, we don't know what, go ahead.
Yeah, you and I have had a very preliminary discussion about this. I have not seen the grant terms. But
Okay.
do we know if the grant is that we have to allocate the money or we have to actually have it spent by February 28th?
I believe we have to have it spent.
Okay, maybe we should talk about that because it's an awful quick window for that amount of money.
Right, right. So, and one of the discussions that I did have is basically being able to supplement the funds for programs that are already in existence. So then it just extends the life of those programs. So these funds would be spent first and then free up the funds for the programs to
Yeah.
continue later on.
Which was what my question about allocation was, but, because that's an accounting kind of nightmare if we have that much money that we've got to put into a stream.
Yeah.
In our existing stream, right? So,
Well, no, this money we're talking about the Office on Aging money to help mitigate some of the costs for sewers and hookups and.
Right.
So let's simplify this. We all in our heads know what we're talking about, but I don't know if the public realizes what we got is we got grant money coming in for the Office on Aging. They're going to have a meeting on the 9th, and we're hoping we can help with all this publicity in regards that the health department sent out that letter saying, hey, you owe us $120. Kind of health department learned what happens when you do that. And so we're hoping that this money might help mitigate some of those costs. How's that? And now we're just finding out we may not have enough time to we'll have to find out. There's still
I
more
need
work.
to see the grant and
Okay.
look at that.
Okay, I just want to
need
kind
see
of
the grant.
summarize since we all know what we're
Yeah,
talking
fair
about.
point.
So, okay. Thank you.
Mr. President,
Yeah,
can I just ask one more question before we move on here?
certainly.
In the board correspondence, and we're not gonna have Teresa read it, we usually don't, but there's eclipse information and events. Is that something we can get on the website and make it clickable?
Yes, actually, we had a meeting yesterday with Mr. Freeman and Mr. Sharkey, and they are working on that right now. They seem to have some issues with our website. Was it Civic something or other? So they're working through the glitches in order to make that information available to the folks as far as what they need to know and those kinds of things. Mr. Freeman should be here on February 13th to give a full presentation to the board, show you the website and what it looks like, answer any questions, let you know where we're in the planning process with regards to the eclipse.
I mean, that's a question that I've been getting a lot, for the handouts for the eclipse and who's having what and where and what's going on. So if it could be clickable, that would help people to just get right to it.
Clickable,
Like,
right on the
where-
web,
Yeah, like you have listed
right on the
out where-
homepage?
Well, wherever it's gonna be, because you have the various places here where the solar eclipse viewing is gonna be.
Okay,
So people could just click on that one and then see that flyer,
okay.
because
All
they're
right.
listed out here.
And that came from the Visitors Bureau.
Right, I think
Gary, okay.
we're probably talking about two different things. So I'm talking about EMA, and I think this is more of a Visitors Bureau deal.
Yeah,
So,
probably Gary,
yeah,
yeah.
we can definitely figure that out.
Figure out how to get it on the website for them.
Definitely.
Gary gives it the Visitors Bureau and Dave Freeman and EMA. There's a public safety component to the eclipse, and there's a tourism, and they have a good grasp at it. I had a meeting with them, just in the last week, and they've been working together well, because if we're gonna have all these visitors, there's actually a third leg. We've gotta take care of the visitors. We've gotta make sure that life goes on for those of us who live here. And then there's the public safety piece of it, so, I think they have it well in hand, but it's a good time to note that we're less than 2 months away from that date.
Correct.
So, we're coming down the home stretch and we've gotta get it right.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I have nothing. Board correspondence.
I will move to waive the reading of the board correspondence.
Second,
Discussion. Commissioner Hung.
Yes.
Commissioner Riddell.
aye.
Commissioner Moore.
I
Is there any new business? Public comment.
Michael,
No.
you're up.
Oh, here, I'll just give you the whole, they're already separated.
Okay.
Following up on your presentation from Tuesday?
Oh, yes, I am. And I'm giving you even more valuable information than I gave you the first one.
Good morning.
And thank you for allowing me to be here. Thank you for allowing me to speak again. If you were to look at two of them that I want to focus on, the rest of them you can look up yourself. One of them is artificial sweeteners. If you look at where I put artificial sweeteners, what exactly are artificial sweeteners? The answer to that is, at one time, they were experimental drugs for some medical problem, and you'll see that on the paper. And I did give you an example of where G.D. Searles came up with aspartame. It was an experimental ulcer drug. So I want to focus on that. The FDA at that time was working for all of us. Now they do not work for us. They work for the pharmaceutical, biotech, and chemical companies. When the FDA examined aspartame, they found out that they would increase the numbers of ALS, which is amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or more common to people like me, Lou Gehrig's disease, multiple sclerosis, lupus, Huntington's, Parkinson's, narcolepsy, and epilepsy, and people who think they're going to lose weight by using this, weight gain. They do not lose weight, they gain their weight. President Carter refused to legalize aspartame. On page 2, where I put Donald Rumsfeld, he was the one that turned everything around as a former U.S. House rep and the CEO of G.D. Searles that had the experimental drug aspartame. They discovered it tasted sweeter than sugar, and they wanted it legalized as an artificial sweetener. And President Reagan, I mentioned him. He was the one that Donald Rumsfeld approached. Reagan asked some simple questions. Donald Rumsfeld told President-elect Ronald Reagan that this is the most tested drug, and he wanted it legalized as an artificial sweetener. They made a deal, and Ronald Reagan's favorite treat snack was Jelly Bellies, not jelly beans, Jelly Bellies, and they had the refined sugar taken out of the Jelly Bellies, and Donald Rumsfeld came as a member of Ronald Reagan's presidential cabinet. He had a lot of influence. Why? I put it on page 3. The Food and Drug Administration was then compromised, and as time went by, the people that are the board of directors of the Food and Drug Administration are not members of the federal government, but they have federal government authority. And why? And they legalize many medical problems as diseases that are not diseases. And the reason was because the FDA could enforce their own law. Only a drug may diagnose, prevent, treat, cure, and reverse and cure a disease. Cancer, I'm going to tell you right now, is not a disease. It's not contagious. Flus are a disease. HIV is a disease. Cancer is a medical problem. So here you have my first 3 pages. And I want to continue on as I was going with inflammation. And I listed 4 medical problems: osteomalacia, osteopenia, osteonecrosis, and osteoporosis. To the women in here, I would tell you now that if you were to use the bisphosphonate drugs to increase bone density, your doctors would tell you this is a good thing because your bone density is increasing. I have it listed here that it is not a good thing, and I put it in red. your bones would start turning into dry clay bones. And one day, when you fall or bump yourself, those bones will do more than break. They will shatter all over the place. So here's the causes and the reversal processes. And then, according to the World Health Organization at the United Nations, the number one arthritis is osteoarthritis. I have it listed here on page 3. If you were to look at the number one arthritis, according to the World Health Organization, 1 out of every 2 people with arthritis have osteoarthritis. Here's the causes, and here's the reversal process. They're all natural, which violates the only a drug may diagnose, prevent, treat, reverse, and cure a disease. On page 4, I skipped some pages, but I wish I would have kept them for Michael, who was here. But I will be getting them to him. I titled my references "Ignored Researchers." Now, I have no disrespect for the people here that are working so hard with the health problems, but you are not educated on the facts. And the facts are, I have 5 books that I brought in, 2 from Reader's Digest, 1 Juice Alive, 1 from Kevin Trudeau, Natural Cures They Don't Want You to Know About, and the other one from 3 doctors who put together a prescription for natural cures, and they listed very serious medical problems. The reason that we do not have these cures is because Michael, who was here before, said it. It's about money. And I have 2 very famous researchers who were both medical doctors, who were both oncologists, who were both surgeons, who were both PhDs in biochemistry. One of them won a Nobel Award for research on cancer during World War II, and the other one won a Nobel Award for research on cancer during the 1970s. Otto Heinrich Warburg was the researcher during World War II. And the reason he was debunked by what was called valid pharmaceutical research was because the pharmaceutical companies came out with a new treatment for cancer, which was chemotherapy. So they had to officially debunk Otto Heinrich Warburg.
This is a lot to digest, Mike, and I appreciate you coming in today.
And if anybody wants to look,
we should refer people, you've got some references there where they can get more information, correct?
I titled them "Ignored Researchers" on page 4.
Right, but then for further proof, you have another set of 13 publications that people could read to get the information you're leading us to, correct?
I brought in 5 of my books. I read them in the Avon Lake Public Library, and I purchased them at Borders Bookstore and Barnes & Noble's bookstore in Crocker Park, Westlake, Ohio. They're sitting right there if anybody wants to quickly look at them. And I have something that's even far more powerful than those books now. My Apple iPhone. I know exactly where to look and tell anybody where to find this information.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you.
And to you women, if you come down with osteoporosis, do not take those bisphosphonate bone density growth drugs. Take a good look at them. They will destroy you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At this point, I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn into executive session
Adjourning.
to discuss.
I would suggest the motion be,
Into an executive session.
I would suggest the motion be to recess into executive session for the purposes as outlined by the clerk, and additionally to discuss public contracting and to receive an update on current and pending and potential litigation for
Also real estate.
public contracting.
That would cover public contracting?
Okay. Teresa, I move what he just said.
I got it.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Commissioner Hahn?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye. It's 10:40. All right, let's see how long this takes.
What'd you say? I marked
So
it
I
down?
think you wrote it down what I was gonna say before I said
Oh,
it.
yeah. Oh, there she is.
Okay, we are returning from executive session.
Our meeting is back in session.
We are back in session.
Commissioners have reconvened.
Motion to approve the executive or the personnel summary sheet.
We want to put that on the projector? There we go.
Okay.
We have a motion to approve.
We have a
need second?
motion.
I don't really know who
Yeah,
motioned
I
it.
made
They
it.
both said it at the same time.
I got Dave, but I didn't get a, you want a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
And we have the world famous Miss Blair in the audience. Oh, well, you know, I mean, it's the camera. Well, yeah. I just thought I wanted to embarrass you a little bit. That's why I said. Yeah. Well, you know, would you like to come back up here and you don't want to do that? Oh. It's great to see you, and I thought I could embarrass you a little bit. So.
Okay. Very good. Meeting adjourned.
Yeah.